Exodus chapter 31. Choice of the craftsmen. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, See, I have chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur of the tribe of Judah. I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, understanding, skill, and ability of every kind of craft, for the art of designing and working in gold and silver and bronze, for cutting stones to be set, for carving in wood, for every kind of craft. Here now I give him a partner, Oholiab son of Ahisamach, one of the tribe of Dan, and to all the men that have skill I have given more, for them to carry out all that I have commanded you, the tent of meeting, the ark of testimony, and the mercy seat that is on top of it, and all the furnishing of the tent, the table and its accessories, the pure lampstand and all its accessories, the altar of incense, the altar of burnt offerings with all its furnishings, the basin and with its stand, the intricately woven priestly vestments, that is, the sacred vestment of Aaron the priest, and the vestments of his sons for the priestly functions, the anointing oil and the fragrant incense for the sanctuary. In these they are to do exactly as I have directed you. Sabbath laws. The Lord said to Moses, Speak to the people of Israel and said, You shall keep my Sabbaths carefully, because this is a sign between myself and you from generation to generation, to make you realize that it is I, the Lord, who sanctify you. You must keep the Sabbath then. It is to be held sacred by you. Whoever profanes it shall be put to death, and whoever does any work on that day shall be cut off from his people. Work is to be done for 6 days, but the seventh day must be a day of complete rest, consecrated to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath will be put to death. The people of Israel are to keep the Sabbath, observing it from generation to generation. This is a lasting covenant. Between me and the people of Israel, the Sabbath is a sign forever, since in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, but on the seventh day he ceased working and rested. When the Lord had finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai about all these things, he gave him the 2 slabs of the testimony, slabs of stone written with the finger of God. Exodus chapter 32. The golden calf. When the people saw that Moses was taking so long in coming down from the mountain, they assembled in front of Aaron and said to him, Come, make us gods to walk ahead of us. As for this Moses who brought us out of Egypt, we do not know what has happened to him. Then Aaron said to them, Take the gold earrings from your wives, your sons and daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people took off the earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took what they gave him and with a graving tool shaped the gold into a molten calf. Then they said, These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of Egypt. Now when Aaron saw this, he built an altar before the molten calf and proclaimed, Tomorrow will be a feast day for the Lord. So the next day they rose early and sacrificed whole burnt offerings and brought covenant sacrifices. They then sat down to eat and drink and got up to make merry. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go down at once, for your people whom you brought out from the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have quickly turned from the way I commanded them and have made for themselves a molten calf. They have bowed down before it and sacrificed to it and said, These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. And the Lord said to Moses, I see that this people is a stiff-necked people. Now just leave me that my anger may blaze out against them. I will destroy them, but of you I will make a great nation. But Moses calmed the anger of the Lord his God and said, Why, O Lord, should your anger blaze out against your people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with such great power and with a mighty hand? Let not the Egyptians say, the Lord brought them out with evil intent, for he wanted to kill them in the mountains and wipe them from the face of the earth. Turn away from the heat of your anger and do not bring disaster on your people. Keep in mind your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the promise you yourselves swore. I will multiply your descendants like the stars of heaven, and all this land I spoke about I will give to them as an everlasting inheritance. The Lord then changed his mind and did not bring the disaster on his people as he had intended. Moses then set out and came down from the mountain, carrying in his hand the 2 slabs of testimony, slabs engraved on both sides, back and front. These slabs were the work of God, and the writing graven on the slabs was the writing of God. When Joshua heard the noise of the people who were shouting, he said to Moses, there is a sound of war in the camp. But Moses said, it is not a victory song nor the cry of defeat that I hear, but the sound of singing in chorus. When he drew near to the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, his anger blazed, and he threw the slabs from his hands and shattered them against the base of the mountain. Then he seized the calf they had made and burned it in the fire, grinding it into powder and scattered it over the surface of the water, and he had made the Israelites drink it. Then Moses said to Aaron, why did these people do to you that you have brought such a great sin on them? And Aaron said, do not let your anger be roused. You know these people and how evil they are. They said to me, make us gods to go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us out of Egypt, we did not know what has happened to him. I then said to them that whoever had gold was to give it over to me. I threw it in the fire, and out came this calf. Moses said that the people were out of control, for Aaron had let them run wild to a point that would make them an easy prey for their opponents. Then Moses stood at the gate of the camp and said, all those for the Lord come to me, and all the sons of Levi ran around him. Then he said to them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, commands. Let each one carry a sword at his side. Go back and forth through the camp from door to door, and do not hesitate to kill your brother, your companion, and your neighbor. The Levites did as Moses had ordered, and that day about 3,000 men fell. Moses then said, today you have been invested as priest for the Lord, one at the cost of his son, another at the cost of his brother. Because of this, the Lord gives you today his blessing. The atonement. The next day Moses said to the people, you have committed a very grave sin, but now I am going up to the Lord. Perhaps I will be able to make atonement for your sin. So Moses went back to the Lord and said, these people has committed a very great sin by making themselves a god out of gold. And now please forgive their sin. If not, blot me out of the book you have written. The Lord said to Moses, whoever has sinned against me, him I will blot out from my book. Go now, lead the people to where I told you. My angel will walk before you, and on the day of punishment I will punish them for their sin. And so the Lord punished the people with a plague because of the calf Aaron had made for them. Exodus chapter 33, concern for God's presence. The Lord said to Moses, go now, leave this place, you and the people you brought out of the land of Egypt, and go to the land I promised an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when I said, I will give it to your descendants. I will send an angel before you, and I shall drive out the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Go up to the land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go among you, for you are a stiff-necked people, and I might destroy you on the way. When the people heard these distressing words, they were very sad, and none of them put on any ornaments. The Lord then said to Moses, say to the sons of Israel, You are a stiff-necked people. If I were to go with you even for a moment, I would destroy you. Now take off your ornaments that I may know what shall I do to you. And so the Israelites stripped themselves of their ornaments before leaving Mount Horeb. Moses' closeness to God. Moses used to take the tent and pitch it for himself outside the camp at a distance from it, calling it the tent of meeting. Whoever wanted to seek the Lord would go out to the tent of meeting outside the camp. And whenever Moses went to the tent, all the people would stand, each one at the entrance to his tent, and keep looking towards Moses until he entered the tent. Now as soon as Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would come down and remain at the entrance to the tent, while the Lord would speak with Moses. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud at the entrance to the tent, they would arise and worship, each one at the entrance to his own tent. Then the Lord would speak to Moses face to face, as a man speaks with his friend, and then Moses would return to the camp, but Joshua, son of Nun, the young man who was his attendant, would not move from the tent. Then Moses said to the Lord, "See, you say to me, 'Lead these people up,' but you have not told me whom you will send with me, and yet you have said that you know me by my name, and that I have found favor in your sight. And now if I have found favor in your sight, let me know your ways, that I may experience you, and so find favor in your sight. Look, this nation is indeed your own people." The Lord said, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." And Moses said, "If your presence does not go with us, do not take us away from here. And how will anyone here know that you look kindly on me and your people? Will it not be because you go with us? In that way, I myself and your people will be distinguished from every other people on the face of the earth." The Lord then said to Moses, "Even this request which you have made I will grant you, for I look kindly on you, and I know you by name." The Lord passes before Moses. Moses said, "Then let me see your glory." And he said, "I will make all my goodness pass before you, and proclaim the name of the Lord before you. For I am gracious to whom I want to be gracious, and I am merciful to whom I want to be merciful." Then the Lord said, "You cannot see my face, because no one can see me and live." And he added, "See this place near me, you shall stand on the rock. And when my glory passes by, I will put you in a hole of the rock, and cover you with my hand until I pass by. Then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face must not be seen." Psalm chapter 37. Good and evil, the perennial problem. Do not fret over the wicked, nor be envious of wrongdoers, for they will soon fade like the grass and wither like green plants. Trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and be at peace. Make the Lord your delight, and he will grant your heart's desire. Commit your way to the Lord, put your trust in him, and let him act. Then will your vindication come, beautiful as the dawn, and the justice of your cause bright as the noonday. Keep calm before the Lord, wait for him in patience. Do not fret if others succeed when they carry out evil schemes. Refrain from anger, turn away from wrath. Fret not, for it only leads to evil. For the wicked will perish, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. Tarry a bit, and the wicked shall be no more. Though you look for them, they cannot be found. But the humble will inherit the land and enjoy peace in abundance. The wicked plot against the virtuous and gnash their teeth at them, but the Lord derides the wicked, for he sees their day coming. The wicked draw their swords and bend their bows. They aim at the poor and the afflicted. They get ready to slay the righteous, but their bows will be shattered. They will be slain by their own swords. The little that the righteous possess is better than the abundance of the wicked, For the power of the wicked will be shattered, and the righteous will be upheld by the Lord. The Lord watches over the lives of the upright, forever will their inheritance endure. They will not suffer loss in times of calamity. When famine strikes, they still have plenty. But the wicked will perish. The enemies of the Lord will vanish like smoke, like the beauty of the fields. The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous are generous in giving. They inherit the land, those whom the Lord blesses, but those whom the Lord curses will be cut off. The Lord makes firm a man's step when he takes delight in him. They may stumble, but they may not fall, for the Lord holds them by the hand. From my youth to old age I have yet to see a virtuous man forsaken, or his children begging for alms. The righteous always lend and give freely, and their children are a blessing to them. Do good and shun evil, and you will live secure forever. For the Lord loves the just and the right, and never forsakes his faithful ones. The righteous will be protected, and the children of the wicked cut off forever. The righteous will possess the land, they will make it their home forever. The mouth of the virtuous tells of wisdom, and his tongue speaks what is right. His steps have never faltered, for the law of God is in his heart. The wicked spies on the just man and lies in wait to slay him. But the Lord will never abandon the just to the power of his persecutor, nor let him be condemned when he is tried. Hope in the Lord and follow his way, for he will exalt you and give you the land as your inheritance. You will look on while the wicked are destroyed. I have seen a wicked and merciless man towering like a cedar of Lebanon. But when I passed by again, he was no longer there. I looked for him, but he was not there. Mark the blameless, watch the upright, and you will see that there is future for the lover of peace. But all sinners will be destroyed, the future of the wicked will be shattered. The Lord is the salvation of the righteous in time of distress. He is their refuge. The Lord helps and delivers them. He delivers them from the oppressor. He saves them, for they seek refuge in him. Matthew chapter 23, verse 23 to 39. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You do not forget the mint, anise, and cumin seeds when you pay the tenths of everything, but then you do not fulfill what is far more important in the law: justice, mercy, and faith. These you must practice without neglecting the others. Blind guides, you strain a fly but swallow a camel. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of your cup and plate, but inside they are full of plunder and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, clean the inside first, then the outside will be clean too. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, beautiful in appearance, but inside they are only dead bones and uncleanness. In the same way you appear as religious men before people, but you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness within. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the monuments of holy men. You say, had we lived in the time of our fathers, we would not have joined them when they killed the prophets. So you yourselves confess to be sons of those who murdered the prophets. So now finish off what your fathers began. Serpents, brood of vipers, how can you escape condemnation to hell? So I am sending you prophets, wise men and teachers. Some of them you will kill and crucify. Others you will scourge in your synagogues or drive them from one city to another. Because of these you will be accountable for all the innocent blood that has been shed on the earth, from the blood of upright Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you have murdered by the altar between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly I say to you, the present generation will pay for all these. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you murder the prophets and stone those sent to you by God. How often would I have gathered your children as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, yet you refused. Now you will be left with an empty temple. I tell you that you will no longer see me until you say, Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.